Ongoing investigation. The confidential human source who provided information about then Vice President Biden being involved in a criminal bribery scheme is a trusted, highly credible informant who has been used by the FBI for over 10 years and has been paid over 6 figures. These are facts, and no amount of spin and frankly lies from the White House or congressional Democrats can change this information. At the briefing, the FBI again refused to hand over the unclassified record to the custody of the House Oversight Committee, and we will now initiate contempt of Congress hearings this Thursday. Given the severity and complexity of the allegations contained within this record, Congress must investigate further. Americans have lost trust in the FBI's ability to enforce the law impartially and demand answers, transparency, and accountability. The investigation is not dead. This is only the beginning. It appears this investigation is part of an ongoing investigation, which I assume is in Delaware. The Oversight Committee will follow the facts and be transparent to the American people with our findings. I'll be happy to answer a couple questions. Yes, sir.
Are we talking about, Congressman Comer, are we talking about just one document, or are we talking about several documents? And what could these documents actually hold? Could they end up showing more Biden family business dealings with other countries?
This document was dated, I think you all know this, from the subpoena in July 30th, 2020. The claims made in the document are consistent with what we found and disclosed to you all in Romania. It suggests a pattern of bribery where payments would be made through shell accounts and multiple banks. And there's a term for that, it's called money laundering. And that, again, is what the majority of the suspicious activity reports also said. So we feel that this accusation is consistent with a pattern that we're seeing, frankly, in other countries too.
And multiple documents?
We believe there are multiple documents.
Mr. Chair,
yes.
Why do you need the document in hand? You just got a chance to view it, so why do you need it, and why move forward with contempt when the FBI says they're cooperating in good faith?
Well, let's just look at what I've read in a lot of the media accounts. And with statements that Ian Sams has made from the White House that, you know, there's no merit to this, this is crazy, this is a conspiracy theory. And you're just supposed to take my word or the FBI's word. I'm supposed to take the FBI's word that they're investigating this, or that you're going to write that the source is unverified, or whatever. Remember, the main reason they're not wanting to make this public is because they're concerned about the source, the highly credible, and I haven't read that in a lot of outlets, the highly credible source that's been with the Bureau since the Obama administration. One more question. What's
Thank you very much, Chairman Comer. In addition to initiating contempt proceedings, do you plan to, or do you expect in the near future, refer criminal charges to the DOJ despite the DOJ?
Right now we want the Form 1023. We believe, due to the fact that it is not classified, this is not a classified document, that this is an important part of our investigation, and we want to have this document in hand. I'll do one more. Yeah. All I know is there's an ongoing investigation. They confirmed there's an ongoing investigation using this information. I assume that ongoing investigation is in Delaware. I don't know that, but I assume that.
Can you break down why that's your assumption?
I'm sorry?
Can you break down why that's your assumption, or what information you have to support that?
Say it one more time.
Can you break down why that's your assumption and what information you have to support that that's based in Delaware?
I assume it's Delaware. I'll put it like that.
What country is foreign national from? Mr. Chair, could
Yes.
you take notes today? Were you able to take notes in there?
I took notes on the unclassified portion, but then there was a classified portion I didn't take notes on.
Do you want to have follow-up briefings from the FBI on this? Again,
The ball's in the FBI's court. Thank you all very much.
All right, Representative Comer there speaking after reviewing the Biden FBI documents there. He says that the documents suggest pattern of bribery and says that there will be hearings coming from this document. This is something that he and the House Oversight Committee really fought for regarding when Joe Biden was vice president. And now it looks like we are going to have Representative Raskin speak right now after reviewing as well. Let's hear from him as well.
High-level delegation to comply with the oversight majority's demand for us to see this document. We saw the document, and the FBI team actually went way beyond showing us the document to explain the historical and prosecutorial and legal context of the document. And from that, what I learned was that Attorney General Barr named Scott Brady, who was the U.S. Attorney for Western Pennsylvania, to head up a group of prosecutors and FBI agents who would look into all of the allegations related to Ukraine. As Attorney General Barr himself put it, we have to take everything coming from Ukraine with a grain of salt. But after Rudy Giuliani surfaced these allegations, this group was appointed, and they looked into the Form 1023, and this group was created in June and spent the summer on it, and as I understand it, in August determined that there was no grounds to escalate from an initial assessment to a preliminary investigation. And the standard for moving from an assessment to a preliminary investigation in FBI prosecutorial protocol is whether there are articulable facts giving rise to suspicion of criminal activity. So they apparently decided that there was not, and they called an end to the investigation. Now recall that this is under Attorney General William Barr and his hand-picked prosecutor, Mr. Brady, who was a Trump appointee. They were the ones who decided that there was no grounds further based on what this confidential human source reported from a conversation with another person. They decided that there was no grounds to escalate this up the investigative prosecutorial chain. So if there's a complaint, the complaint is with Attorney General William Barr, the Trump Justice Department, and the team that the Trump administration appointed to look into it. But I'm just surprised that my colleagues want to try to litigate this in public, much less hold the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation in contempt for complying with their request when there was a whole process that was undertaken, and that process came to its natural end, as I understand it. Yes?
So in your opinion, there was no criminal charges that you see from what you saw today?
Well, there were not only were there no criminal charges, there was no escalation of the FBI's investigation that was ordered by Scott Brady or by Attorney General William Barr. They all signed off on ending that investigation. So, yeah, remember, what we're talking about here is a confidential human source reporting a conversation with someone else. So we're talking about is secondhand hearsay, and they did whatever investigative due diligence was called for in that assessment period, and they found no reason to escalate it from an assessment to a so-called preliminary investigation, and after that comes a full-blown investigation. Yes, and then I'll come to you.
Thank you very much. So, from what you're saying, is Chairman Comer not telling the truth in that there's an ongoing FBI investigation into this allegation that then Vice President Biden took a bribe from a foreign official?
Wait, say,
He said it was an ongoing
You said it was an ongoing investigation, that they're still
into that
investigating.
document.
okay, but Well, I'm not privy to what the chairman had to say. There have certainly been published reports that there is an ongoing investigation in Delaware by the U.S. attorney, I believe related to Hunter Biden. That's all that I know.
Any indication that this document that you guys were briefed on today is part of an ongoing investigation?
What I know is that the FBI Department of Justice team under William Barr and Scott Brady in the Western District of Pennsylvania terminated the investigation. They said there were no grounds for further investigative steps, so they ended that. Now, in terms of another investigation, I can't speak to that. I have seen nothing about that, and other than published reports. So,
I guess what we're asking, this document in particular, is it part of an ongoing
Comer said that it was part of an ongoing investigation, and that's what he learned.
Okay, but then I must have missed that because I've not heard that this is part of any ongoing investigation.
What is the allegation?
So,
is it just the money that was paid to Hunter Biden from the Reason Award, or what is the actual allegation?
I can't go into the details of it. And remember, I'm abstracting from the particulars of this case. We're talking about something pretty extraordinary here, which is an FBI document that is a report of a confidential human informant. And the FBI depends on these people in order to make their cases. And so obviously they are categorically, absolutely interested in maintaining the confidentiality of these people's identities. And their identities can obviously be deduced from certain kinds of facts if you start releasing interview documents that they've confided in the FBI about. So we want to be very careful about that, and I would think that that's not a partisan issue. That's something all of us should agree to. Yes?
So the FBI officials that were briefing you today did confirm that it is the document really.
All right, Senator Raskin there speaking on behalf of the House Oversight Committee there after reviewing Biden FBI documents. This was something that was fought for by Representative Comer, Republican, and the Republican saying that there will be hearings